Hey, Greg, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you doing?
Can
Perfect.
anybody hear me?
We
Nope.
are having all kind of technical
Yep, I
difficulties.
can hear you.
Oh, look at there's Peter. Awesome. Peter, can you hear me? I think I see Peter's mouth running and I can't hear him.
Peter, we can't hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Listeners, I apologize for our technical difficulties. We do not know what is going on, but we will be working on this momentarily, so stick with us. Don't go anywhere, you guys.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? This is Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany.
You are live on the radio. Dana, Peter, if anybody else is having issues with getting your mic to come through, you need to go into the restream settings and choose your microphone and your speaker. But Foster, we can hear you.
Oh, good, good. Perfect.
The mic is not muted. Everybody's unmuted.
Okay, I'm Greg.
Thank
Can you hear me?
There you go. I can. Peter, was that you just talking?
No, it's Greg.
Oh, Greg, I can hear you.
Now I can hear Peter.
Peter, go into your restream settings and do the audio drop down and choose your microphone, which is your headset. Can't hear you. You're going to have to type in the box to me, okay? Or I'm going to put my cell phone in here and you can text me. But Foster, why don't you go ahead and start it out?
Okay, will do. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We welcome to the Jobfather, and we here love to tell you guys all about what's going on in the job search. We want to people like Peter and I and Dana and all of us and Maz like to equip job seekers to know how to handle different things going on in the job search and give you good information to give you a leg up on what you're trying to do. So we always start off with a word of prayer. And if you guys bow with me real quick, we will take care of that. Father God, we are having technical difficulties abound this morning. We ask that you bring us through all of that, that we may serve your people, our job seekers, our brothers and sisters out there. And we thank you for everything that you're guiding us through. We're starting a new year in 2024. We have already, my God, we're already in the second month. And we thank you for that in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 All right. All right. Dana, can you hear me?
She's frozen right now, but I'm getting to her to get it refreshed.
Oh, yeah, she's frozen. Look at there.
Foster, can you hear me now?
I can hear you just fine.
Perfect.
All right. So we will just move ahead. Dana will get with us. She'll catch up. So, guys, what I like to do, and a lot of you guys would probably ask me if I don't do it, because I always like to start off with a dad joke, and I got a good one. So let's go into this. So when I was a kid, y'all, I bought a dog from a blacksmith, or my dad did, and we got him home, and he made a bolt for the door. Come on now, y'all supposed to be laughing.
Ouch. Ouch.
We're probably
right,
a little slow today, so it's probably
man.
taking us a second to catch on.
Yeah, we got thrown off with all the technical difficulties and all that stuff. So I can blame it on that. So all of you guys, I can hear you guys laughing out there. I hear you. I see Jason Hopper's with us. Good morning, Jason Hopper. All right, Jason, guys, is one of the main coaches over in Dallas. Over there, I'm trying to think of the address. Jason, put the address in the uh, uh, in the chat if you would. At Jewish Family Services, guys. You guys, Google up Jewish Family Services. They are wonderful, wonderful helps in the job search, and you do not have to. Oh, you do not have to be Jewish to get help from those guys. That is a community, a corporation that is there and has been there for years and years. That run a lot of different programs in helping us do what it is that we do to try to help job seekers get where they need to get. So, yay, Jason, and tell Allison hello. Mez is with us. Mez is always with us, guys. Mez is our hype lady. She is our marketing genius. She is behind the scenes, and sometimes she comes on the show with us to help us do what we do. And you guys know Mez. And Mez, thank you for being a part of this. Oh, I see Jody is with us. Jody Hudson. Wonderful, wonderful. It will continue. There will be a lot of people checking in as we go. I want to introduce you guys to Peter Leahy. Now, Peter is a absolutely wonderful servant in the network to help us get to where we need to get. Morning, Kelly Lanier. And Peter, we're going to talk about kind of, at our HR meeting earlier this week. Well, yesterday, to be honest, it was earlier this week, wasn't it? We were talking about an AI platform that I think a lot of companies are about to start using that we need to be we need to be cognizant of. I mean, as we're heading to as many of you guys have had video interviews, and that's not going to be the main topic of what Peter and I are going to be talking about. Peter and I are going to be sharing a lot of observations, but that's a good place to start. Peter, tell us a little bit about you, and let's talk about what we were talking about yesterday.
Oh, I would love to, Foster. Thanks, first of all, to you and Dana for having me on. It's really a thrill to be here. And I spent most of my career, as you know, Foster, working for big multinational companies. Lived in Europe for a while.
Me too. Oh yeah.
Primarily consumer products. So I could throw a good party. I worked for Coca-Cola, Frito-Lay, and Coors. So perfect for the Super Bowl this weekend.
Oh man!
I also could feed your dog. I worked for a pet food company as well. So
well, you got to throw the animals in there after that joke I just gave, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I've run regional and national sales teams for years, and have, as you can imagine, interviewed countless candidates for various roles, and certainly been a candidate myself a lot. So it brought me to this point where my daughter, God bless her, she put up with a lot of my coaching when she was starting out in her career, and she encouraged me to write it all down and maybe it'll help somebody else. And so that led me to writing a book called Taking the First Step, which I have on Amazon now, which was very exciting for me. And it basically delves into the whole concept of how do you prepare and execute a really professional interview. And to your question, Foster, about AI, AI is driving the need to be even more prepared for your interviews, your ability to talk about yourself, because the platform that we discussed the other day, it's called Role Scale. It's a brand new platform, and it works on both sides. From a recruiting standpoint, it helps recruiters screen and process resumes through their applicant tracking system. And but then it also takes it a step further, where it does one-way interviews and uses artificial intelligence to analyze the answers and using facial recognition to look at your face. So it's incredible technology, but if you're not prepared, it can overwhelm you. And that's where, I didn't really, when I started thinking about this book, AI wasn't really on the table. But my whole philosophy is relative to most people when they are faced with a career search. They usually start by applying for jobs online, or they're focused in on their resume. And resumes are critical. Obviously, we need resumes, but they're not going to get you a job. They're going to get you an interview.
Get you a conversation, huh?
Exactly. And the goal is to get to that conversation and then be ready to take it.
Yeah, a resume, we just can't extract everything out of a resume. We see that the basic stuff that we're looking for, we better be seeing that, y'all. You hear me? I want you guys to fix your resumes towards what the company is looking for. The main things that the company is asking for will be their main pain, and they want to hire us to help them to alleviate that pain. So if we can make that resume speak to what they're looking for, then I think that's going to get us towards that conversation that Peter and I are talking about. And guys, we are getting more and more sophisticated. Now, Greg will laugh because I didn't say better. I said we're getting more
Yeah.
sophisticated. Yeah, in our approach to helping all of these matters that we have in corporate America, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it's a transition that we're still getting used to, and AI is a transition that we're still getting used to on both sides of the fence, guys. So what Peter is talking about, I think we're going to see a great increase in through this year and through 25 and 26 in this arena. We're trying to help parse out who we're dealing with and who the company's deciding that they're going to talk to and spend their time with, because time is so short. I guess now, Peter and Greg, I guess 24 hours is not enough time in a day. I guess, I don't know.
Well,
It wasn't before.
True.
the interesting thing is the technology is so overwhelming that when you're in a career search, it almost puts your head spinning. And again, what I encourage everybody to do, the first chapter of my book is spend enough time to really analyze your own skills and what you are good at. Because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, all the technology is going to do is screen us to the point where we will eventually have to talk to a human being, whether we like it or not. That's going to happen for
Right.
99% of the jobs. And what I've noticed, and we talked about this the other day, Foster, is that people, because they're so glued to their screens today,
Yeah.
they're losing their skill set on how to be an effective communicator. And that's a real challenge that we can't let happen. And so when we're doing our coaching every week at the South Lake Focus Group, we talk about, developing those skill sets and then creating stories that you can share. I like the STAR technique that a lot of people have heard of, situation, task, action, result, as a format for telling stories. And practice those stories, because your skills on your resume aren't going to do the talking. You ultimately have to do that.
That's right. And I myself and Dana, well, Mez is this way too. We all are this way. Guys, we are going to, over the years that we're going to be here on the radio talking with you guys, we are going to be talking about any kind of way we can to keep the human element going in job search. Uh, I think we all feel where this is kind of going. And if we become robots, there'll be a lot of things that just really are not encouraging about jobs and getting jobs and all that sort of thing for us as a culture, guys. We're looking at a culture change, and we need to, as long as a person decides that whether we're going to hire Peter or not hire Peter, then that personal, that intangible that Foster likes to talk about, we always got to keep that alive as we're moving forward.
Exactly. I mean, Greg, we talked about it the other day that, your ability to use your network to connect to people that might be able to use your services is still, in my opinion, the strongest and most effective way to find a new career. And that to me is an overlooked area, because most people just gravitate to the internet. And
That's right.
that's where LinkedIn and your own personal network becomes so critical.
Yeah,
It really,
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, people get very comfortable. It's very comfortable to sit in your house by yourself, in your slippers and just pound out resumes. But, and I give you all the credit for it, guys, that, you're the ones that explain to me that, you got to get out and connect with people, because the AI, it's not going to help you network with people. And,
Right.
one of the things that keeps popping in my head as I was listening to you two was, what do you think that this AI is going to do to the job search cycle? Is it going to make it longer? Is it going to make it shorter? Is everybody going to have to fall into certain criteria and categories? Because that is what they're doing, is taking the human element out of the filtering process.
Exactly. And, the goal is to make it a fair and equitable process. And the way that it typically works, I mean, they've been scanning and parsing resumes for quite a while. That's not a new service with applicant tracking systems, but the AI component now is making it a lot more targeted. So in a typical job search, if you're the hiring manager, you would sit down with your team and you would develop that job description that we all see. And Greg, you and I talked about the keywords and the soft skills and all the things necessary to make that position come to life. And then when they run it through the system, it's parsing first for those keywords, and it's looking for a multitude of those. And
Right.
and that's been going on. That's not a new thing.
It's been going exactly. Yeah.
And that's where formatting and meeting with like Peter Nandis or somebody that really knows resumes, formatting your resume becomes incredibly critical if you are applying digitally through an ATS system. But where AI, I'm sorry, go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I'm sorry. One of the things I was going to say, that I've actually had conversations with some other job seekers to where, they're actually using AI themselves to try to counteract a lot of the technology that they're having to parse through right now. And so it's almost going to be like, a computer's going to be talking to a computer to decide whether you are worth, having a conversation with. Where does it end, I guess, is the question.
That's we're all kind of asking that question, but I think the interesting wrinkle that's added to AI, because even the video interview is not new. I mean, companies have been doing that for 4 or 5 years, I believe, Foster.
At the least, yeah.
And typically what it would be, you'd record, you get a chance to record 5 answers, and then it would be submitted, and the hiring manager would actually watch you deliver your answers. With AI, that doesn't even happen. They do a voice to text, and that text of your answers is then analyzed by AI, and then they use the video itself. They have data points on your face to look at your eyebrows and your nostrils and your pupils and your, are you smiling? And it's pretty intense. But again, it's going to be screening. And eventually they're going to have a short list, and Rollscale actually pops out a whole list of the top candidates from whatever application pool came through. And that's when the human element comes back into it. And so you still are going to have to, all it's going to do is streamline the screening process. I met a lady yesterday that she says she posts a job, and within an hour she has 200 applicants. That's overwhelming if you have to screen them one by one. So we've been automating this process for a while. The risk, in my opinion, Greg, we talked about this the other day, is that good candidates are going to get missed. And
absolutely.
That's kind of inevitable. But I don't see any stopping this. But it goes back to my premise that says, regardless of the way that your resume is screened, the opportunity to get a face-to-face interview is the goal. And then your ability to execute that interview to a very high level requires you to spend a tremendous amount of time preparing for it. And most people skip that step because analyzing yourself is hard and it's not fun. And that's why it's so easily skipped. Well, I'll get to that later. And then the next thing you know, you got an interview and you're like, oh no, what am I going to say? And so the goal, build confidence, and do that by really knowing yourself and being able to tell your stories well.
Absolutely. I think we always got to be ready for that. And that's another thing, guys. I'm going to give you guys another tip to encourage you to get out and network and get from behind the computers. You're not going to ever be able to get from behind the computer completely, and you shouldn't. But you know what, guys? A lot of the jobs that we find out about in our networking circles are never even posted. We
Mhm.
know, and Peter and I have been at those levels in corporate America where those creation and we've been in those meetings where jobs have been created. And the first thing that happens before when we're having a conversation about our need for something, the first thing before we even get out of the meeting is, does anybody know anybody that does this? Anybody,
That's right.
you know? And a lot of jobs, guys, never even make it to the open, what we consider as the open market. So I'm going to encourage you guys to network as much as you can. Come out to South Lake Focus Group. Come out to Frisco Connect. Jeff Morris, a lot of you guys know, has been on this show, and he has the North Dallas Career Search Network going on Fridays. Today, this morning, and guys, there we are trying to well, not really counteract where we're going, but we're trying to enhance where we're going to where we can still get out there and connect with people to make a difference. Um, Greg is in job search. We're going to be hearing from Greg on the second part of the show. We're going to be talking all about what Greg does, and then I'm going to be sharing with you guys what I was impressed with when I first met Greg. And so we've got a heck of a deal as we are, I guess, morphing into wherever we're going, Peter, I guess would be the right way to say that.
No, you're so true, and I mean, I was so impressed with Greg when we spent time together, and
Uh-huh.
he has such a great story. Not and it's all about the kinds of stories that Greg tells. His work ethic and his commitment to his family, and those are great things that companies look for. Companies want to know three things, Foster, and you know this. They want to know, can you do the job? Will you do the job? And will you fit into our
Yeah,
culture?
can you get along with us?
That's right. And that's really the essence of what every search is. And where Greg really shined with me was the passion that he has for his work, as well as his personal life and his commitment to his family. And those are just great things that every company should want to see in their candidates.
Boy, now that's the truth.
I'm blushing over here. You're going to have to stop that now.
Yeah, you can pay me later, buddy.
We've got Dana with us, and
Dana.
Dana is one of the most awesome contributors to this network. When I first met Dana years ago, we won't talk about how many. Uh, Dana had a spirit that was in her, like Peter, like myself, like Greg, to help others. And this network is full of that, guys. And I suggest that you guys connect with the people that care, so to speak. And Dana, we've been rambling on and on and on without you. You're with us now. Before we go to commercial, was there something you wanted to add?
Well, I couldn't even hear the show. I
Oh,
was
good. Okay.
completely blocked out, so not yet, but I will go ahead and bring us in on the second half.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, we will be hearing music here pretty soon. And we'll be going to the second half of the show, which we got Greg Spence right down there with us. Greg, for you companies that are here with us listening, Greg is, as you know, you probably saw my meeting notice last night. Greg is in sales. He's a senior sales guy. And when you guys hear Greg talk more, you're going to understand. And maybe you probably want to reach out and have a conversation with Greg. So even if you don't have a position open right now, you might want to open one up. You might want to think about that because you don't run across Greg's very often. And we'll be proving that on the second part of the show. So, getting back to where we were going before we run out of time, Peter, is there a simple thing that you think all job seekers should do that you don't see us doing in mass right now?
Um, as far as preparation goes, taking the time to really analyze your soft skills and prioritize them to a point where if somebody asks you what are the top 5 things you think you're good at, you don't stare at the ceiling for a couple minutes thinking about it.
Yeah.
You have a pretty readily available answer, and
Mhm.
and then what that follows up with, say, my number one skill, I'm a great leader, and let me tell you a story, an example about my leadership, and then be able to just segue right into story about leadership that's a real live story. And
Absolutely.
All
that to
right.
me really makes a difference in an interview when people are comfortable enough to
Oh, we hear
explain
the
their setting.
radio.
There's that music.
All right, we'll be back here in
Peter,
just a few
thanks a lot.
minutes.
Absolutely. We'll
Thank
be back,
you.
y'all.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
All right.
Well, good morning, Jobfather Nation. We are extremely excited to be here with you this week. And please know that we are proud to be a part of the voice of Johnson County, Texas, as a show on Joco Community Radio. Good news. Joco Community Radio is not only the voice of Johnson County, Texas, but Tarrant County as well. The radio station is expanding. With that being
Yeah.
said, you can listen to the full lineup and more by simply going to your app store, downloading the Joco Community Radio app. You can listen to the lineup of shows, including yours truly, for free anytime you want. Please check it out. Also, please don't hesitate to reach out to Foster at his website. Search for you. The full website will be posted in the chat because we are blessed to have our wonderful Mez with us, who
Oh, yeah.
handles all of the project management and keeps us in line. The show wouldn't exist without her. With that being said, if you need to advertise any of your positions on air, we are part of Jobseeker networks, not only nationwide, but globally.
Yeah.
Or if you need to hire an experienced recruiter to help find quality candidates, Foster can provide all of that. Plus, if you go on Search for You, you can help donate to the full time work that Foster does, volunteering to connect people in the job search network. The work he does is a lot of endless hours, and he does a lot of this to help support as a ministry the job seeker community. So don't forget to do that.
All of us, yeah.
Yes, I will mention real quick, we do have a director of tax and an M&A analyst opportunity, mergers and acquisitions analyst open at Beacon Oral Specialists. To apply, just go to beaconoralspecialists.com. They're local here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. The director of tax, we can employ anybody nationwide. The M&A analyst at this point in time needs to be focused and based in Dallas. And these are full-time positions. We're
All
in
right.
Dallas, and we're right at the corner of 635 and 75. Convenient location. With that being said, Foster, I'm not sure because I was having some internet issues, but
Uh-huh.
were there any landings or positions that were
Yeah.
announced on the first half already?
No, but I've got a position that I want to let everybody know about. And then I will have the second part dad joke as well to make you guys laugh after we get serious. So, guys, if you are, this is the first time that I've seen this, believe it or not. Um, I am helping a friend over in Fort Worth. It's right about, for some of you folks that are familiar with Fort Worth, it's right at about I-30 in the Forest Park region over there. There is a oil baroness over there, or not a baroness. Well, he and his wife, Baron, and he needs an office administrator slash executive admin. So you usually see an executive admin that's helping the big guys and the VPs and all the CEOs and all those people, and you usually see that separate from an office admin as well. But this is a small office, and it will be supporting the oil baroness and baron, and also be have some functionality in the office as well. So it would be a good opportunity for the right person, and contact me at foster.williams at sbcglobal.net. If you could, if Mez, if you would put that into the chat, and then I'm going to throw my number at you guys: 214-728-6930. That's 214-728-6930. You can call me. We can talk about this opportunity. But be a good opportunity for somebody over in the Fort Worth side. Okay, now dad joke time. Time to laugh, you guys. If
Let's do it.
if I
All right.
get if I get a grin out of Greg, I'm doing a good job. Greg's a hard customer to please, man.
I'm just focused.
So so yesterday I saw a guy standing at the ATM, standing on one leg at the ATM, and I asked him, I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Checking my balance."
Oh,
Peter.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that concludes our dad jokes for Friday.
That was funny.
Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. Mez put a number up there, but it's not my number. Mez, whose number is that? Okay, you can put it in the chat. So, guys, I want to introduce you to Greg. Greg Spence, not Spencer. Spence.
Yes.
Greg, guys, is a sales executive for a number of years. Greg's going to be involved in the operations. Greg's going to be just your lead person that you might want to assign Greg to a certain big corporation, big client that you have or anything. So let's just talk to Greg a little bit more about Greg. Greg knows Greg and Greg's background a lot better than Foster does, even though he's my brother. Hey, he knows a little bit more about the Greg stuff than I do. So good morning, Greg. Is it still morning? Yeah. Good morning, Greg.
Yeah. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Let's talk about your job search a little bit. Let's talk about what you're looking for.
Okay, well, I'm looking for something in a VP of sales role. My real passion is I love to teach and train and develop salespeople.
Yep,
Uh,
that's you.
you know, well, I mean, it's
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Hello? Uh-oh. Do we have it missing?
Man, we were off to a good start, and then all of a sudden the technology catches up with us. Okay, guys, Greg will be back with us. Let's continue. Let's me and Peter continue talking until Greg comes back, and when Greg comes back, Peter will shut up.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So, guys, right now, there are some people that are in the network that are very, very well known networkers. If you are interested in getting into healthcare, uh, or if you are already in healthcare, guys, you definitely want to connect with a lady named Judy Wardle, Jude.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, totally. Wardle is her last name,
Mhm.
Judy Wardle.
Wardle. Mhm.
Uh-huh. And then I cannot leave Jules Reicherbush out of this. Now, Jules, Jules. Okay, now I'm gonna try this. And Peter, if you if you got his name written down in front of you somewhere with it,
I I don't. I don't.
Ryckebusch. And I think if you go into LinkedIn and you start putting that name, it'll probably spell him or pull him up even before you have to spell out his whole last name. It's Rykebush, guys. RYKE. It may be CKE, RYCKE, or just KEBUSCH. Look up Jules Rykebush. Now, guys, here comes the job father part of me. These are people that I have a relationship with, and thanks, Dustin. Dustin's got it. RYCKEBUSCH. Thanks. And Kelly, thank you guys. Kelly Lanier and Justin Williams. Oh my goodness. See, we got a lot of help in this network, this right network. Guys, connect with both of those people and say Foster's running the big mouth. Foster thought it'd be a good idea if I connect with you on LinkedIn. Guys, honestly, even if you are not uh, 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 connected with Foster, uh,
Mhm.
do it anyway and say, "Hey, I heard it on the Job Seeker on
Yeah.
Jobfather," and connect with them in the spirit of networking. But guys, definitely do this. Do not find those guys and push that button.
Mm.
Explain to them why you are connecting with them, because those are people that will not connect with you if you don't explain what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them.
That's a good
That's
point.
that's something that we do. That's something that we teach in the network. Guys, there's a lot of connected dots. There's a lot of things. And I'll say something else that's unpopular for a lot of people that are in a hurry and they got a lot of pressure on them to get a job. I get people that I just have met, or or people that have found or heard from somebody that they ought to connect with me, and we will connect. Not if you just send me that push the button stuff. But
Yeah.
guys, Dana, we have learned and we excel at our jobs because of our relationship building abilities, and I know Peter is in this as well. But guys, if you connect with me, Foster, do you have any connections? Yeah, I might have connections, but I'm not going to connect you guys to somebody that I just have a connection with and I don't have a relationship or I don't know.
Yeah.
Guys, if I know those people, now I know that narrows it down a little bit, but with me, you'll be surprised how very little it narrows it down. Because when I'm connected to somebody, I'm going to make an attempt to
Yeah.
make some sort of relationship with it. But you'll be surprised how big my LinkedIn is and how many of those people I've actually had contact with and remember what it is that I connected with about them. And guys, um, there's no sense in asking Foster for a connection. Ask Foster for a relationship. Foster, do you know somebody that works at this company? I saw a job and I want to zero in on this job, because I'm not going to just connect you with somebody wildly. Now, unless it's a recruiter and you're a good fit for that position. There's always these. these parameters with Foster. Oh my God. They call him the job father. So you guys let me be the job father. Don't expect me to do the same thing everybody else does and running around throwing stuff around because you got pressure on you because you don't have a job. We're going to find you a job. And if my name is going to be involved, we're going to make sense of this thing. Okay, I'm going to shut up about that.
Hey, Foster,
Yes,
can I mention a company that I ran into a couple days ago at a
please,
networking event?
please do.
It's good. They just leased 23,000 square feet of space in the Las Colinas area of Dallas, but they have jobs in a lot of places. It's an interesting company. The name of the company is the letter M, like Mark, the letter N, like Nike, the number eight, energy. So emanate
Oh,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
energy.com.
yeah.
So their website is mn8.com, or
Mhm.
sorry, mn8energy.com. And they're
Nice.
in the sustainable energy space. So they have a lot of engineering and operational jobs because they build and maintain solar arrays and different types of sustainable energy. And they told me, they're operating guys, I met them at a networking event, they're going to go from 100 to 400 employees by October.
Oh
So
my
they're
God.
they're very aggressively looking for folks, and they have a lot of jobs posted on their website. So anybody that wants to stop in, you should definitely check it out.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's what this networking thing is all about.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. So, guys, on Search for You, a lot of you executive level folks might want to go and check out a position that I posted last night. That's a very executive level operations position, and it is on Search for You. So go and check it out. And that's search the number four, the letter U, inc.com. I wanted to tell you guys that even though Mez put it in the chat earlier, search SEARCH the number four and the letter U inc.com. There it is. Thank
Nice.
you, Mez.
Yes. Good
Y'all
deal.
check that out. What we and Dana and I like to do on that site is to put postings from people that, hey Foster, I need to hire this, and I am the person that's going to be responsible for that job, and I want the resumes to come to me. I want the suggestions of people that you and Dana and other people in the network have to come to me because I am personally involved in hiring this position. So guys, you won't see a lot of apply online, uh, if at all, to be honest with you, on Search for You. We've got nothing at all against apply online. This is something else I want to tell you guys. Apply online sounds like it's a little bit further removed from what Dana and I always talk about, but guys, it works just fine. It
It
works.
works fine.
It works just fine.
People
Yes.
apply to our company all the time, and we check first, okay, who's applying, and then let's go run. We don't wait. We still go do sourcing, but who applies is important.
Very, very important. And I had a host of recruiters that worked for me at Verizon, and
Mhm.
each and of every one of us had a number, and when you posted for when you applied for a position, that resume would hit our desk. It would. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes, guys, now know this. And if you apply for a remote position, there's probably going to be, Dana, what would you say, three times the amount of applications that we would normally see if it's a remote position? Because if it's remote,
Yeah, just because if it's fully remote, you're gonna
yeah,
see a lot more. But, I'm seeing that a lot of jobs are going hybrid, which isn't a bad thing.
that's not bad at all.
No. So, I think, we're in good shape. I would just don't hesitate to apply. I mean, I use that strategy all the time when I was in between jobs in April, and it helped. I got a lot of interviews from just applying. I didn't always know people.
No, no, but guys, it is important if you take the time to tell Dana and I and other recruiters a little bit about why you're a good fit for that position.
Mhm.
Why do you think that you are an exceptional candidate for this particular position, because that is what we're going to, when we go through all the resumes that we have to go
Mhm.
through, those are the things that are going to decide whether I think I might want to call this Peter Leahy guy over here.
Yes, yes.
This
Yeah.
is recruiting 101, and Dana and I will continue to bring these kind of things and these kind of people to you, like Peter. That, Peter was a hiring manager like myself and Dana,
Yeah.
probably up higher than me. But Peter shares, and I've heard him share in presentations and direct networking with people, some things that were important to him when he was needing to hire somebody.
Right.
So, guys, hey, and if you're a hiring manager, guys, remember what you look for when you're looking to hire somebody. I see Greg back with us. Greg, are you
Yay,
there?
back.
All right. So
About
Hey,
let's
time.
Greg.
continue.
My goodness. You would think that the world ended and restarted.
Guys, that is Greg Spence again, not Spencer. Greg Spence. There's Julie Paxton with us. She said, "Hey, Greg." And Greg is back.
Hey, Julie.
Greg, let's continue talking about your longtime sales and developed into sales leadership and all that kind of stuff.
All right. Well, sorry guys about the glitch, but yeah, I've been in a manufacturing position for the last 17 years, handling national accounts. 9 years ago, I was promoted to the national sales director for a manufacturing company that handled consumer products for big major retailers like Macy's and Sears and Rooms to Go and
Mhm.
things of, companies like that,
Uh-huh.
where we had some huge successes building teams and growing the company by going out and also developing the current. That was something that I was really successful at. We built the team from the ground up. I taught and trained most of the guys one of them had never sold anything in their life, and we had a lot of success doing that.
Wow, that's amazing. What type of positions are, when you think about what you're targeting, right? What type of titles and what type of
Okay.
industries are you looking for right now?
Okay, I'm looking for like a VP of sales position, sales operations manager, director of sales position, somewhere in that area. And I really like, industrial
Okay.
construction and the automotive industry. I've got a lot of experience in the automotive industry. Most of it is personal experience, but my family owned a mechanic shop when I was a kid, and I actually helped my family run our shop when I was younger, and I built my first engine when I was 13 years old.
Oh,
So
wow.
I've got a real passion for cars.
Yeah.
So being not on the car dealership side, but on the manufacturing side, being able to direct and lead a team or teams in those areas would be where I would want to be. The main part about it is, I want to be directly involved. I am a lead from the front kind of person. I do not sit back and wait.
Yes.
I like to teach and train, and I like to be on the spot with coaching and
Involved in the
helping.
process. Yeah.
Exactly. Mentoring is probably my biggest passion. I tell this story all the time, but when I teach and train salespeople, it's like being a parent, teaching your kid how to go out and hit a baseball. You go out and you work with them on the how to swing and how to stand. Then when they go out and they're actually on their own and they're in a game and you see them hit that winning run, that feeling that you get by seeing that happen is how I feel when I teach people and watch them succeed, make money, and provide for their family.
Greg, that's a good question, Maz. Greg, are you in DFW? I know the answer is yes. Where exactly are you?
I'm in the North DFW area, just north of Frisco, in a little town called Prosper, Texas.
Oh, man.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. We've been
Prosperous.
up here. We've been up here for 12 years now, and it's a great area. School districts are fantastic, and I'm connected. It's, the tollway is 2 miles away from where I live, and so I can get just about anywhere in
Yeah.
DFW, in 30, 45 minutes. So, It's a nice area. I really like it up here.
Prosper is nice out there. But Greg, you know, as long as I've known you, I have put you over in the Las Colinas arena over there. I don't know why I thought you and your wife were over there.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of companies over there in that area, and
Yeah, it
I've
is.
worked in that area in the past. So, and commuting is not really a problem for me. I worked remotely in my last position, but I covered as part of a rep, I covered the state of Texas,
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and northern Florida, and I drove most of that. So for me to make a commute for an hour or whatever, it's not really a big deal for me.
Yeah, and in your position, a lot of leadership, a lot of companies have people all across the United States. And some companies, you know, some of these big old companies have salespeople and things going on in just about every state in the union. And so you guys might want to consider to hire Greg and bring him in. Especially if your product is exceptional and you want to continue that going and being number one in the industry, Greg is going to be the people to lead your salespeople into letting people know that that product is there and you ought to work with this company.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Everybody,
versatile across the board there. I mean, I've done a lot of online remote work, like we're talking, doing Zoom calls and things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. I've done a lot of mobile work, flying across the United States, working with salespeople and team members. I've trained literally thousands of people across the United States in sales training, product knowledge training, online and in person. I've talked to rooms of over 500 people at a time. And
wow,
I've done one-on-one stuff as well. I'll give you a really quick story. I know we don't have a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of time,
yeah.
but I'll tell you a really quick story. So, a couple of years ago, I was working with one of my clients, and I started really observing their business model and noticed that they had a real gap in one of their areas that needed some help, and
Ah,
it needed it for a long time. And so I actually went to my company and I talked to them about this. And it took me a little while to convince them because it was going against everything that they thought the industry expected, specifically profile. Well, in their specific situation, they had height restrictions on on the products that they sold, and so I convinced my company to rethink and reconceptualize the product, and I helped them design a new active support system for these products, which allowed us to create not only multiple levels of the product, different price points, and different comfort levels across the board, which they had never had in their history. And once we rolled that line out, I designed all the training material for it, the sales process for it, and then actually went out and trained the salespeople. And we saw about a $4.1 million increase in a very,
oh.
very short amount of time. And now it has completely changed the concept of how they produce products for this particular segment.
Now, companies, did you hear that? You want to have somebody involved in the process along that can make an observation that you yourselves, and I'm not putting you companies down, but you yourselves may not be able to see from the inside. So those are the type of individuals that you want to have. You want to hire those companies and that kind of leadership. Uh, I've been a recruiter for more years than I want to tell you guys. And that is the kind of person, Greg is the kind of person that you absolutely want to hire, especially you guys that are in that industrial sector. I'm not saying that he can't do the other stuff, but especially in that sector that he has most of his experience in. And Greg is just that kind of person. Greg and I are much, much alike. We call ourselves brothers because, hey, when we first met, we knew we spoke the same kind of language. I don't even know how to
Yeah,
explain that. But sometimes when you're
it was
talking
a
to somebody,
connection.
yeah, it's a connection. Just like I did with Peter. Hey, Peter's a smart guy. Peter's a guy that I want to kind of tag along behind him. I shouldn't have told him that. But Peter has an impact that he's just, Peter is intelligent. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Peter knows how to uh, communicate what it is that he's thinking. And if you guys listen to Peter, I think you'll be very, very successful in what you're doing. And I learned from you guys. Honestly, I learned from you guys Uh-oh, I hear music. Shut up, Foster time. Peter, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Bye,
Absolutely.
everybody.
We'll see you guys next Friday.
Bye-bye.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoyed